right, so I have to be straightforward here. I really didn't have a lot of expectations for the CB1100. It's a naked bike, inline 4-cylinder, air-cooled. I rode it home last night and then back today on my commute. It's about a 20-mile trip one way, and I was very impressed with this bike. First thing you notice is when you sit on it, the center of gravity is super low. I'm about 6'1", so you can see how low the seat height is for me. And so when you take off on the bike, you almost feel like you're on a 600 just because of the way it carries the weight so low. The 600 analogy goes out the window as soon as you twist the throttle. The bike's got a ton of torque. Brian, I think you had a question. What?
Yeah, I mean, it's an old school looking bike. When you got on it, did it feel like an old school bike or did it feel like a modern?
Yeah, so that's a good question. When you're going down the road, you can tell people are looking at you like, this bike gets a lot of attention.
Okay.
So I think the old school looks, you know, are definitely there, but from the feeling, it's a modern motorcycle. There's no lag in the throttle. You can tell its fuel injection is spot on. The transmission is probably the smoothest transmission I've ever used.
Okay, you said it had a lot of torque, but do you feel it has the top end power as well, and it'll highway and long distance riding?
So the best analogy I have on that is it's almost like a sewing machine. It's just super smooth. The bike doesn't do anything like crazy. It doesn't rip your arms off on acceleration. It's just sewing machine smooth.
Okay, suspension?
It's soft.
Soft?
Yeah, which I think is probably good for this bike. For a daily rider and a commuter, you don't want the thing being real harsh and beating you up. But under hard braking, brakes are awesome, by the way. Hard braking, I mean, you really compress the forks because they are so soft.
Okay.
Yep.
Good looking bike.
What really surprised me was the way the bike carries its weight. In transferring lane to lane, it is extremely neutral. You don't have to, you know, think, hey, I need to make a turn, so I have to counter steer. The bike almost does it automatically. You think I need to change lanes, and the bike just changes lanes.
So a cool looking bike, good commuter, and different, stands out from the crowd.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. I didn't have this high of hopes for this bike, but it's really cool. It's got dual trip meters. It's got a miles per gallon calculation. You see there 37.4 is the average. That shows how many gallons it has used, 1.1. It's also nice, it gives you a gear indicator, so you can see what gear you're in. That's actually a nice feature. This thing's got 6 gears. It's that 6 gears really nice, like an overdrive. The RPMs are super low. It's 60 miles an hour, it's under 3,000 RPM.
It's like a car.
Yeah, just super low RPMs.
Gas mileage.
Really smooth. Yeah, the gas mileage we're seeing on the dash here is not fair because it's in the first 100 miles. But that's just going to keep going up.
Right.
I like the flash to pass over here on the handlebar, which is really nice. Somebody's about to pull out in front of you, instead of having to flick the on-off, you know, high-low beam, you can flash to pass. Dual horns sound really good. Turn signals, easy controls, and then on the right, you'll see you got the 4-way flashers built in.